If you'd like to make your NFL games a little more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast, presented, of course, by DraftKings Sportsbook. 30 minutes or less. We give you all of our bets for this time, week 6 in the NFL, and we even let you know how we did the week before so that we can keep ourselves and you guys honest. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. Now I got a bunch of podcasts. The Ross Tucker Football Podcast is daily, so you know what's going on around the league from a player's perspective. Fantasy Feast Podcast helps you set your lineups, of course. The College Draft Podcast, we bet the 4 biggest games of the week against the spread. A lot of you are not listening to that or watching youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. You should be. And remember, you can always see all the picks and bets we make on this show by becoming a Tuckhead member at patreon.com/RT Media. Our guy Grades posts all of our bets, all kinds of data, advanced metrics. It's amazing. We love Grades. And by we, I mean me and Steve Fezzik, the only 2-time winner of the Super Bowl of professional football gambling, the Super Contest at the Westgate. Check him out on social media at Fezzik Sports and only at Fezzik Sports. I am at Ross Tucker NFL, and together we're at Ross Tucker Pod, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Steve, love the tank top. You're not messing around. Do not love how we did this past week. We had one of those bad weeks. I'll just put it out there. I was down 1 unit. You were down 7. And what stinks, Steve, is it got off to such a great start with your epic Broncos under 23.5 team total. That was the best bet. We both put 2 units on it, and that cashed easily.
When you play a team total under 23.5 and both teams combined only get to 21, you're in good shape the entire game. Great start to the week.
I'm annoyed that I didn't take the Colts anyway, because remember, I wanted the 3.5. You know, by the end of the week, Steve, it was 3.5 again. It was 3.5 a half hour before the show started. It was 3 while we record, 11 a.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. And then like later on in the week, the rest of the week, it was 3.5 again. I would have bet the crap out of the Colts getting 3.5. That annoys me. Giants, Packers. The Packers were part of a 2-team teaser for us, Packers and the Bucks. And the Packers blew it. Packers were up double digits twice in the game. They just got beat, Steve. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're just not a very good team. The Giants, I was so impressed by their toughness and how they played. The Packers crushed our teaser.
Yeah, no fluke at all. As you mentioned, the Giants won the stats. And I got to tell you, even the end game, I'm hypercritical of these coaches. Love the Giants taking the safety. Love the Giants putting the skill position player back there to run around to the corner of the end zone and kill an extra 8 seconds in the end game. Very well done.
Very well done. What was not well done was you and I going big on the Steelers, getting the 14 points. Thought it was a good spot for the Steelers for a lot of reasons. Steve, they stink. They lost 38-3. I lost 2 units. You lost 3 units. It was the best bet gone awry.
Yeah, drawn dead the entire way. Gabe Davis, 98-yard touchdown pass. And wait, I think he caught another one that was very similar. Just an ugly selection. And, this will happen sometimes when you play big dogs. You're going to get a few no-shows. You're going to look like a Dumbo.
That is for sure. Falcons, Bucks. I kind of played that game both ways, and I middled it. I had the Falcons getting the 8.5 for 1 unit. That came through. The Bucks teaser came through. Unfortunately, the Packers didn't hold up their end of the bargain on the other part of the teaser. Dolphins, Jets. I leaned Jets, as did you. Boy, we should have bet that, although we didn't know Bridgewater would get hurt on like the first play of the game. So that obviously changed that. Bears, Vikings. I leaned Vikings laying the 7. They end up winning by 7, 29-22. And then we have Lions, Patriots. I took the Lions getting 3 for 1 unit. See, they lost 29-0. I think is it over for them?
Oh, it's done. It's interesting how sometimes there are hot teams that the market just embraces that have no business of being embraced. Loser organization that never wins, the Lions. And you saw all the optimism with Hard Knocks, and the season win gets bet up from 6, 6.5, even goes to 7. Nope, same old Lions.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Texans, Jags. We both had the Jags. Speaking of loser organizations, we both had the Jags in a teaser with the Chiefs. Jags only had to win the game. I mean, that's all they had to do. They lost 13-6. They were laying 7. They lost by 7. Now, they controlled that game, Steve. They turned over on downs 3 times. Lawrence threw 2 picks. So I don't know how I feel about that one.
Well, you're going to feel a whole lot better when I tell you this news. You're probably unfamiliar with teaser rules. When you play a 2-team teaser and one of your picks wins or loses, it's irrelevant. If the other leg pushes, which the Chiefs did push, we teased them down to -1. They won by 1. It is a refund. It is not a loss. So even though Jacksonville lost outright, that teaser is graded a push. That's the rule at most of the sports books, certainly in Nevada and the world. A few cockroach teasers, rule places have it graded as a loss, but the very vast majority tease, get 1 push, you get your bet back.
Are you sure?
I will send you a screenshot of my refunds that came in on my teasers. Oh, I am sure.
Wow. I didn't know that. So the Jags poop in the bed didn't hurt us. Interesting. So we benefit from the fact that the Chiefs won by 1. We benefit from that.
In essence, we resurrected our teasers. There used to be some sports books that you could, when you played a teaser, you could put in the first leg and have what they call an open spot. And what would happen when the game was about to lose, we would frantically be calling in our second legs or entering it, and we would tease a -3 to +3, desperately trying to push the second leg in order to get our money back. The old days at places like Millennium Sports.
That is interesting. So I should have been rooting last night for the Chiefs to win by 1, which is exactly what happened. That's amazing. All right, I'll take those 2 units back. Thank you very much. Nice. So I was up 1 unit for the week, and you were only down 5. It makes me feel a little bit better about it. Titans, Commanders. You put 2 units on the Commanders, getting 3. They lose by 4. Your boy Wentz, Steve, did it to you again.
Well, Wentz is leading the league in effective blocks, so I'll give him that. The linemen probably like him because he gets dirty, but he also plays dirty, making bad decisions. Washington should have won. Washington won the stats. Washington was right there. 3rd and goal from the 2. 2 cracks, 50-50 shot. Just need to get it in on one of them. Nope. Washington does what Washington does, and they disappoint.
Browns, Chargers. We both like the Browns getting the 3 points. They lost by 2. So that was a 2-unit best bet that came through for us. We both leaned the Seahawks getting the 5.5. They lose by a touchdown, 39-32. Their defense has major issues, especially with Taysom Hill. Niners, Panthers. I lean Niners laying the 6.5. You stayed away. Obviously, they slaughtered the Panthers. Matt Rule got fired. Eagles, Cardinals. I laid the 5.5 with the Eagles for 1 unit. They only won by 3. Then we've got Cowboys, Rams. Cowboys were laying or getting 4. I couldn't believe it. Put 2 units on that. They won by 12. You leaned to the Cowboys. You took the over, 43.5. Over didn't even come close, Steve. My Cowboys did, though.
No, they could have played 8 quarters. I'm not sure I would have gotten the over. So both defenses were the better squads, especially the Dallas defense. Bad read by me on that total.
Bengals, Ravens. I leaned Ravens laying the 3. So did you. They won by 2. And then Raiders, Chiefs. We both had that teaser, Jags, Chiefs. And thank goodness the Chiefs won by 1, and that pushed as a result. So if the Chiefs win the game and we win that part of the teaser, we lose. But because they push, we tie. We get the refund.
That's right. Real quick on the end game, Kansas City going for 2 when they're up 7. That's fine. Really doesn't make much of a difference. Basically, it comes down to you have to assume your opponent's going to score a touchdown, or it doesn't matter. Do you want your offense to go for the 2, or do you want the opponent's offense to go for the 2? That's going to decide whether you're going to head to overtime or not. So that was fine. I had no dog in that fight. Raiders, directionally, I love the idea of going for the win when you're the underdog. End the game right away. But what I don't like, you go for 2 when there's under 30 seconds to play. So if you get it, you win the game. The problem is if when you go for 2 with more time left on the clock, if you miss it, you're a huge underdog to win because the other team can run out the clock. But if you get it, you don't win. The other team knows they need a field goal now, and they go balls to the wall, and they can be aggressive. So the bottom line is, analytically, it is almost never correct to go for 2 when there's more than 45 seconds left in the game and you trail by 1.
Totally agree. Because even if they got it, the Chiefs are just going to go down and get a field goal.
And now they get 4 downs.
Whereas if they kick the extra point, it's tie. Chiefs still have a chance at a field goal, but they're going to be a little bit more conservative.
Exactly.
They're not going to have 4 downs like they do if they're trailing. That's the big difference, is the extra down. I got to ask you, Steve, because people emailed me, ross@rosstucker.com. What do you think of Brandon Staley going for it for the Chargers near the end of that Browns game?
So I broke down the math. It's really too close to call. So I assume he's going to make the conversion 40% of the time. You win. All right. So if they played 100 times, you automatically win 40 of them. Then the other 60, I think you win about half the time if you fail. So you're going to win like 70 times by going for it. However, if you punt the ball and you stick your opponent on their own 16-yard line or so, I don't think they win 30. I think it's a little bit less. So analytically, it's close call. I think it's too close to call. But the problem is it alienates your players. So you should only make a call like that, which is completely deviating from basic strategy of every other NFL coach, when it's clearly the better course of action. And it wasn't the case here. It was a real close call, given that you got to punt.
Interesting. I understood it. I really did. I understood the thought process of, hey, if we punt it away, Jacoby Brissett's going to come down here and get them in field goal range. Let's try to end the game. I didn't have a huge problem with it. You know what I do have a huge problem with, Steve? People that don't realize 2 things. Number one, I finished the week up 1 unit because of that push on the teaser. Make sure, if you can, please, to correct that, grades. And Steve's now down 5 units for the week, which means for the year, I'm actually up 10 units and Steve is up 3 units. So we are still in the black. And in the black is where you want to be with Symbol. I love me some Symbol. Symbol lets you trade pro and college teams like stocks and even earn cash dividend payouts when your teams win. There's a reason why Pro Football Focus calls Symbol the perfect blend of sports and the stock market, offering a brand new way to invest in your favorite teams and profit off their success. I said this morning on the Raw Sucker Football podcast, now would be a good time to buy some Giants. That organization's turned around. Brian Daboll, Joe Shane, they're the difference. Download the Symbol mobile app for iOS by searching SIMBULL in the App Store and use promo code MONEY to receive a free team stock valued up to $150 upon signing up. That's code MONEY to claim your free stock on the Symbol mobile app. Before we dive into this week, Steve, I do want to make sure people know if you have a bad week like Steve did, okay, here's what you do. You head straight for Last Bottle. Whether you had a good week or, like Steve, a bad week, you need a glass of something terrifically tasty. They've got the goods. If you haven't heard of Last Bottle yet, it's a daily wine site based in Napa. One wine every day, and it's gone faster than people that play all those 5-team parlays. Last Bottle has a deal just for Even Money listeners. Use promo code MONEY to get 10% off your next order with Last Bottle. That's lastbottlewines.com. Use code MONEY. All right, Stevie, let's dive into it. Starts Thursday night. Commanders are at the Bears, two of the worst teams in my power rankings. Total is 37.5. I'm not touching this one with a 10-foot pole, Steve. I got to tell you, I don't even have a lean. I guess I would. I can't even say I'd lean under. I really have nothing.
I too have nothing, although I will say I'm going to pull back the curtain here. When a game is pick 'em or close to pick 'em, like this game is in most books, and I expect a really ugly, dirty game, if either team becomes the favorite, they're not worthy of being the favorite, and I'm going to look to do a teaser. So I will certainly lean, if you wanted to have some action, I would lean to Washington teasers from +1. You need to get them up to 7.5. And we'll talk about possible other candidates, but no official play.
The Bucs are on the road in Pittsburgh. They're laying 8.5. The total is 43.5.
So I got punked with the Steelers last week, and now it's going to cost me probably more money because I'm not doing it again. I just can't do it. So when Pittsburgh covers this week, I'll be kicking myself for having bet them the wrong week last week against Buffalo. I'll lean Pittsburgh.
So I'm going to put the Bucs in a teaser. I'm going to tease the Bucs from -8.5 down to -2.5, and I'm going to pair them with the Saints, who are getting 2 points at home against the Bengals. I'm going to take the Saints up to +8 and the Bucs down to -2.5. 2-unit, 2-team teaser. Feel pretty good about that one. Jets, Packers. Jets are on the road. They're getting 7 points. Totals 45.5, Steve.
Yeah, that Packer meltdown in London was not good, and now they've got a ton of travel. Bad spot for the Jets, though, off an upset win. Now having to go to Lambeau, historically really big home field advantage. It's a pass for me.
It's 1 unit for me on the Jets. If it was 7.5, I'd go 2 units on the Jets. I think it's a close game. I don't think the Packers are that good. I think this ends up being a pretty close game. 1 unit on the Jets. What about the Falcons? They're 5-0 against the spread, Steve. They're getting 5.5 at home against the Niners. The total's 43.5. Has the point spread tax come in yet or no?
No, because, I mean, if there was a point spread tax on a team that's perfect against the spread, we certainly didn't see it last week when all the money was against Atlanta. Tampa Bay got steamed up from 8.5 to 10.5. I know, no Patterson, and then no Pitts, so injuries for Atlanta. But Atlanta continues to get no respect. I'll say this. The 49ers have been great on these back-to-back East Coast games. No team does it better than this. Team bonding. They stay at the Greenbrier. Everyone comes together. They have won 4 straight games doing this and 4-0 against the spread. So I want to actually bet the Niners. However, the injuries are mounting for the 49ers defense, and it has me concerned. It's just a lean to the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons. 2 units on the Falcons. Emmanuel Mosley, torn ACL, not good. Nick Bosa has the groin injury. I don't know if he plays. That's a problem, not having those 2 guys. Falcons believe, man. They didn't stop fighting for me and my 8.5 last week, so I'm gonna show faith in those guys. 2 units, Falcons getting the 5.5 at home. The Ravens and the Giants. Another interesting spread. The total's 45. Ravens are laying 5 on the road in New York, Steve.
So I think my gut says the Giants hang in there, and the power ratings lean slightly to them. 5 is such a dead number. There's other games that I like better, though. We'll get to them. I'm going to lean Giants.
2 units on the G-men for me. I'm impressed, very impressed, and I think they'll have a good plan. I think they probably lose the game by a field goal, but I think it's a close game. Ravens aren't going to blow them out. I'll take 5 points at home. 2 units on the G-men. Bengals, Saints. Bengals laying 2 on the road. Total 43.5. I already paired the Saints in a teaser with the Bucs. Took the Saints up to +8. What say you, Steve?
So we're going to do a teaser with the Saints from 2 up to 8. And I'm going to tease them with Jacksonville from 2.5 up to 8.5. So get those key numbers in the 3 through 7 corridor. 2 units on the New Orleans Jacksonville teaser.
What about Vikings, Dolphins? Vikings are laying 3 in Miami. Total is 45. I guess I'm expecting Bridgewater to be quarterback, Steve, but we don't really know.
Oh, I'm not expecting him to be quarterback. If Bridgewater was the quarterback, this would be my biggest bet of the year on the Dolphins. The Dolphins are better than the Vikings with, well, no, they're the same as the Vikings with Bridgewater, and they'd be getting 3. I expect Skylar Thompson. And I got to be honest for us, third string quarterback, my rating for him versus a normal average starting quarterback is a 5-point downgrade. So if I had the Vikings like a moderate favorite with a modest favorite with Teddy Bridgewater, make a 5-point adjustment, I get to the Vikings -3. That's where the number is. So this line is saying you're going to get Skylar Thompson, and I don't know how good dude is, so I'm going to pass.
I'm passing as well. I don't even have a lean on that one. I think Skylar Thompson's okay, but a little different this week when he knows he's going to play. Patriots are getting 3 points in Cleveland against the Browns. The total's 42.5, Steve.
Who are the Browns to be laying 3 points here? Belichick doesn't like the Browns. He'll 100% be prepared. New England off a complete laugher last week, so didn't exert a lot of energy. I'm surprised by this line. 2 units, Patriots +3.
Totally agree. I am with you on that one. I don't understand the line at all. And plus the Browns, they find a way to not win some of these close games late for whatever reason. So 2 units on the Patriots. We have a best bet.
The best bet.
Jaguars, you already talked about, Steve. They're getting 2.5 on the road in Indy. Total's 42. You already teased them up to 8.5 and paired it with the Saints. I'm teasing them up as well to 8.5, except I'm going to pair it with the Seattle Seahawks. So 2 units for me, Jaguars and Seahawks, both going up to 8.5. Anything else on this game or move on?
Well, let me double down with you. I like both those teams in a teaser as well, so we'll make that teaser a best bet as well.
The best bet.
Getting to the late games, the Panthers are getting 11 points. The total is 40.5 on the road against the Rams, who are really struggling. PJ Walker gets the start at quarterback, Steve, and I know you have the data on fired head coach teams in their first game after they let go of them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if the team loved the coach, hated the coach. Team performs when there's that transition. So I would only look towards Carolina. My one concern, PJ Walker in the XFL is tremendous. Yeah, was it? Wait, was it? Yeah, it was the XFL, right? I believe.
No, it might have been AAF. I can't remember.
Alliance of American Football. He was like the MVP. That was in the COVID year when he was going to be the MVP, and then COVID wrecked the season. But the bottom line is he was great. In the NFL, he's been terrible. Even given that, who are the Rams to be laying 11 points to anyone, especially a team that's motivated? Yeah, give me Carolina for 2 units plus the 11.
Totally agree. I don't understand this line at all. PJ Walker's not going to be worse than Baker Mayfield was. He started 2 games in the NFL. They won both of them. The Rams are in a bad way right now, and the Panthers actually have a good D-line. Brian Burns, Derek Brown. Look out. I love the Panthers getting 11. 2 units, another best bet.
The best bet.
Cardinals are laying 2.5 on the road in Seattle. The total's 51. You and I both already teased the Seahawks up to 8.5 in this game and paired them with the Jaguars for a best bet. What about the Bills and the Chiefs, Steve? This is a juicy one. Game of the day, one of 2 games of the day. The Bills are laying 3 on the road in Kansas City. What are the books telling us about what they think about these 2 teams?
Well, the bettors, I think, are betting the situational spot of the year, specifically the Bills looking to get their revenge. But this is the difference between 2.5 and 3. I'm fine making the Bills the favorite. Look at line was pick 'em. Bills looked really good. Fine. Make the Bills -1. Knock yourself out. Make them -2.5, but not 3. Not 3, Ross. Not where you've got so much to like about Kansas City, and they're the second best team in the NFL. I get the second best team at the NFL at home catching 3. I have to play it, even though the Bills have all the revenge. Kansas City, 2 units.
I agree. Listen, the Raiders totally outplayed the Chiefs last night, and the Chiefs still won because they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. It is a good spot for the Bills, but it's going to be a close game, you would think. I'm with you on the Chiefs. 2 units +3, another best bet.
The best bet.
Legitimately, though, Steve, your best bet right now is to get the Game Time app on your phone like I did and look at some of these tickets they have. So I put in Philly because it's closest city to me. I can go to Braves Phillies Friday night for $174 right now. I can go to a home playoff game, the first one in Philly in 10 years, 11 years. That'd be amazing. Or Cowboys Eagles right now. Boy, that's a popular ticket. It's less than $250, but it's $249 right now. You think, oh, that's expensive. Well, listen, Game Time guarantees the lowest price on tickets to all your favorite sports, concerts, and shows. So you can rest assured that is the cheapest ticket. In fact, you can go to the Hornets at the Sixers tomorrow night for $4. $4 you can go. Family of 4. In fact, you can download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem money for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's money for $20 off your first purchase. And you can go to that preseason game for free. Terms apply. Download Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. A lot of people, by the way, Steve, say that they make a lot of money. My buddy Chuck texted me and said, please tell Steve I love him like a family member. And I mean that. He went real big on the under in the Broncos Colts last week. And he texted me. I said, what about me? I'm doing better than Steve this year. He's like, no, I think he's a client of yours, Steve. And he loves you like a family member. Here's the thing. You can make money while you sleep, like Tom Brady does with his investments. We all know he's into crypto, but this is something totally different. It's the kind of move you pay attention to. Right now, Brady's moving into part of a global market with a value of $1.7 trillion. Up until now, basically, a portion of the market's been locked up only for billionaires like Brady. Now you can get in. It's totally different. It's called Masterworks. They've already got like 500,000 members on their platform. There's a wait list, but our listeners, even money listeners, can get priority access so you can skip to the front by going to masterworks.com and use promo code money. That's masterworks.com, promo code money. See important Regulation A disclosures at masterworks.com/CD. Steve, the Cowboys are getting 4.5 on the road in Philly. The total's 42.5. We don't know who the quarterback is, Steve. I think it's interesting that the line's up. I don't know. If they say it's Dak, does it affect the line? Like what's going on here?
Yeah, Dak's not going to play. This line's telling you that if Dak plays, this line will drop to 3, I believe. It's interesting, though. Wow. I mean, Cooper Rush getting a whole lot of respect here. The Eagles, they've been the best team in the NFL. Now, they're not the best team because when we do our power ratings, we have to temper it with preseason expectations. It's a sample size of only 5. And because of that, the Bills are easily the best team because they were supposed to be the best team going in. I was going to bet big on the Eagles, and then I started looking at the injury report. Eagles are banged up in the O-line, really banged up. I don't know how many of these guys are going to be 100%. Because of that, I'm only going to lean Philly.
I would lean Dallas, but it's just a lean. I do think it'll be a close game. I do think it'll be a battle, but I think the Eagles, they had a down game against the Cardinals. They didn't play great. Cowboys played very well against the Rams. I think the Eagles have a bounce back spot. Sunday Night Football at home. They murdered the Vikings in that Monday night home game. Murdered them. And the Vikings are 4-1, and the Eagles embarrassed them. That said, that's why I can't bet it. I'd probably lean Dallas to keep it close because of their D and because of some of the Eagles' injuries, but that all it is just a lean. Monday night, the Broncos are in primetime again. You've got to be kidding me. Broncos at the Chargers, Steve. The Broncos are getting 5 points. Total's 45.5.
So this is a fascinating line in that the Chargers have almost no home field advantage. Half the crowd will be Broncos fans. Coming into the season, comparable season win numbers on these two teams. They're both supposed to win around 10. And yet, here's the Chargers laying 5. I want to bet Denver. I really do. I just don't know about the health of Russell Wilson. And another concern I have, what was the book on Seattle? Seattle was a horrible team, but Russell Wilson was the one factor that made them respectable, and his play enabled them to score. Well, Seattle's been just fine on offense without Russell Wilson, which makes me wonder, is dude just overrated in general, and now he's got a significant injury that he's flying to LA to get a platelet transfusion or whatever it is? I can't do it without a healthy quarterback for Denver. I'll pass.
It's a pass all the way for me because of the reasons you just mentioned. Other than that, let's have a better week. It's a bounce back week. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for listening to the Even Money Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, The Fantasy Feast, Business of Sports, and The College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, rosstucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.